Welcome to Card Corner. These are the cards, that's the corner. Today I'm going to be opening these all-world boxing cards from AW Sports. They say 1991 Premier Edition, so I guess this is the first set they made of these. The packs are really different. It's like a clear foil and then just like a piece of paper wrapped around. But it's got Muhammad Ali on it a couple of times, so let's see if we can't open any cards of him in these packs. We got Mr. Sandman in the corner to make a man out of us. And let's open them up. They don't have the backs, the little extra tab to rip open, so alright, so here's the all-world boxing. Don't let your guard down. Order our specialty designed binder and knock out your opposition only through AW Sports. A charter member of the first official Muhammad Ali fan club. You get a hat and patch, a fan club membership pin, an 8x10 color autographed photo, 5 custom manufactured Muhammad Ali trading cards. Ooh, that's interesting for us. A personalized membership card, membership certificate, quarterly newsletter, access to our 900 number sports celebrity line, special opportunities as a member of IFCSI fan club to join other fan clubs. So if you buy this, you get the opportunity to buy other stuff. I wonder if this is still running. Maybe I will fill one out just to see. There is no expiry on here, it doesn't look like. All right, so who do we get? It's Georges Carpentier, the Orchid Man. Carpentier began boxing at age 14 as a flyweight and found his way up to the heavyweight division by the end of his career. He won the light heavyweight title in 1920 by knocking out Battling Levinsky. Then in 1921, Carpentier challenged Jack Dempsey for the heavyweight crown. Their bout, held at Boyle's 30 Acres in New Jersey, was attended by 80,183 fans, making it boxing's first $1 million gate. Dempsey won by a KO in the 4th round. Licensed by the Boxing Hall of Fame. The finish is a little bit unusual. It's very like laminate-y feeling, and the cards seem very thin to me and not very sturdy. But I kind of like the look of that border. Next up, we've got Ike Williams. Pretty good photo, I think. Williams suffered the first knockout of his career after 47 bouts when he was stopped by Bob Montgomery in the 12th round. 3 years later, in 1947, he returned the favor by KOing Montgomery to win the world lightweight crown. Williams held the title until losing to Jimmy Carter in 1951. But his biggest impact on boxing came at the close of his career when he testified before a United States Senate subcommittee investigating links between the sweet science and organized crime. I don't know what is the sweet science. Is that a term for boxing? Next up, it's Teofilo Stevenson. Stevenson never fought as a professional, but for 8 years he was the mainstay of Cuba's amateur boxing team. He is the only man in the history of Olympic boxing to win 3 gold medals in the same weight class, accomplishing the feat as a heavyweight in 1972, 1976, and 1980. For good measure, Stevenson also won gold medals at the World Amateur Championship in 1974 and 1978. Excuse me, that was a tongue twister, or a long one. Next up, we got Joe Louis. We used to eat these snacks at school a lot. They were like top currency on the playground. Uh, Louis was the first black American to be universally accepted as a hero by black and white alike. He reigned as heavyweight champion from 1937 to 1949, longer than any man ever. During his career, Louis scored many dramatic victories, most notably a first-round demolition of Germany's Max Schmeling in 1938 and a come-from-behind knockout of Billy Conn in 1941. In all, he successfully defended his championship 25 times. From the Louis estate. Copyright that photo. Next up, it's Bob Fitzsimmons. I love the pose here. Fitzsimmons was the first man in boxing history to win world titles in 3 weight divisions. In 1891, he knocked out nonpareil Jack Dempsey to capture the middleweight crown. Then in 1898, weighing only 167 pounds, he had the audacity to challenge heavyweight champ James Corbett and KO'd Corbett in the 14th round. Fitzsimmons lost to James Jeffries in the first heavyweight defense. But in 1903, at age 40, he won a 20-round decision over George Gardner for the light heavyweight title to complete his trailblazing triple crown. Wow. So he won it when he was skinny and fat. Next up, we've got Saul Mambi. Mambi has made a career of fighting the best all over the world, from Antonio Cervantes to Roberto Duran. He captured the WBC super lightweight title in 1980 by knocking out Sang Hoon Kim in the 14th round. Then, after 5 successful title defenses, he was decisioned by Leroy Haley, now 43 years old. Mambi is still campaigning to regain his crown. I don't think he's still campaigning. All right, and we've got Paul Gonzalez. Gonzalez won a gold medal at the 1984 Olympics and is one of the few American fighters to gain recognition as a world-class bantamweight. He captured the North American Boxing Federation flyweight title in only his third pro bout with 12-round decision over Alonzo Gonzalez, and won the WBA America's Bantamweight crown by decision over Armando Castro in 1989. There's a pretty thick text wall on all of these. I feel like they could have had some more stats, but perhaps boxing's not really a stat-heavy sport. All right, next up we've got Ali bonus card number 3. He's who we all came here for. Early in Muhammad Ali's career, it wasn't clear whether he wanted to be known as the prettiest. Sonny Liston is too ugly to be champion, young Cassius Clay said again and again. The heavyweight champion of the world should be pretty like me. But Ali's boasts were more than vanity. They were a forerunner of the theme that black is beautiful and a source of pride to his people. The greatest. All right, and last in this pack, it's Sugar Ray Leonard. A little dinged at the top here. Possibly the most charismatic fighter of the 1980s, Leonard was also one of the best. He won titles in 5 weight divisions, including spectacular victories over Thomas Hearns in a 1981 welterweight unification bout and Marvin Hagler in a 1987 middleweight showdown. His sole loss by decision to Roberto Duran in June 1980 was avenged 5 months later when Leonard humiliated Duran to the point where Duran quit in the 8th round. All right, that's the first pack here. Let's rip into number 2. This is a pretty clever way to do the pack on a budget, I think. All right, did we do this guy or do all the pictures just look the same? No, he's a new guy. John L. Sullivan won the heavyweight crown with a 9th round knockout of Paddy Ryan in 1982. 7 years later, in the last great championship bout of the bare knuckle era, he KO'd Justin Kilrain in a fight that lasted 75 rounds in 2 hours, 16 minutes. For the next few years, Sullivan fought only exhibitions, not championship matches. Finally, on September 7th, 1892, he was KO'd in the 21st round by James Corbett in a bout that ushered in the Marquis of Queensberry era. So they used to go 75 rounds, basically as long as it would take, which is pretty crazy. All right, we got Jess Willard. Got an interesting posture there. The Potawatomi Giant. Willard is best remembered for a championship reign sandwiched between two giants. In 1915, he knocked out Jack Johnson in the 26th round in Havana to capture the world heavyweight crown. Then in 1919, in only his second title defense, he was KO'd by Jack Dempsey in 3 rounds. Both bouts were shrouded in controversy. Johnson later claimed to have thrown the fight in return for the government dropping certain criminal charges against him, and Dempsey's manager later alleged that Dempsey's gloves were loaded. All right, next up we've got Alex Stewart. He's a lot younger than some of these other guys. He says he's still active, but that's probably not true anymore, considering he would be like in his 70s or 60s. Stewart won his first 24 bouts by knockout, a feat no heavyweight champion has been able to accomplish, but the caliber of his opponents was called into question. Then in 1989, he ran into Evander Holyfield, and to complicate matters, Stewart was cut from a butt early in the fight. And tore several ligaments in his left hand and in the second round. He fought gamely but was stopped in the 8th round. Cut from a butt. What is that? I don't know what that means. All right, we got Ray Mancini. Mancini lost in his first attempt to capture a world title when he was knocked out in the 14th round by WBC champion Alexis Arguello in 1981, but he rebounded a year later to stop Arturo Frias and win the WBA crown. A crowd-pleasing fighter, Mancini successfully defended his championship 4 times before suffering a 14th round knockout at the hands of Livingston Bramble in 1984. So even in 1984, they were doing 14 rounds. All right, next up it's Tony Canzoneri. Canzoneri was the second man in ring history to win titles in 3 weight divisions. He achieved that feat by beating Benny Bass for the featherweight crown by decision in 1926, Al Singer for the lightweight crown by first round knockout in 1930, and Jack Kid Berg for the junior welterweight title by third round KO in 1931. Always willing to challenge the best, he fought 36 bouts against 18 different world champions and won 22 of them. All right, what do you know? It's Ernie Shavers. Shavers was one of the hardest punchers in boxing history and twice came close to winning the heavyweight crown. In 1977, he dazed Muhammad Ali but lost the decision over 15 rounds. Then, 2 years later, he decked Larry Holmes, but Holmes staggered to his feet and KO'd Shavers in the 11th round. Shavers is now a born-again Christian and speaks at rallies all over the world. All right, we got Abe Attell. Attell claimed the world featherweight title with a fifth-round knockout of Harry Forbes in 1904 and held it for eight years. Along the way, he had 23 successful title defenses, including one on his 22nd birthday against Jimmy Walsh. But February 22nd was not always lucky for Attell. On February 22nd, 1912, he lost his title on a 20-round decision to Johnny Kilbane. I wouldn't want to go 20 rounds with this guy. All right, next it's Larry Holmes. Holmes won the WBC heavyweight title with a 15-round decision over Ken Norton in 1978 and came to be recognized as undisputed champion with a 1980 victory over Muhammad Ali. He was within one win of Rocky Marciano's 49-0 mark when back-to-back losses to Michael Spink shattered the dream. After a brief retirement, Holmes returned to boxing in 1988 and was knocked out by Mike Tyson. But for a 7-year period, he reigned as the preeminent heavyweight in the world. All right, last card in the second pack is Sandy Sadler. Sadler was knocked out in his second pro bout by Jock Leslie. It never happened to him again, but he went on to KO 103 opponents, more than any featherweight ever. He won the world featherweight title with a fourth-round knockout of Willie Pep in 1948. All totaled, Sadler and Pep fought each other 4 times, with Sadler winning on 3 occasions in one of boxing's greatest rivalries. All right, if you guys know stuff about boxing, let me know in the comments. I don't really follow sports, but one thing I always like to hear about is sports stories, which I think lends itself pretty well to boxing. All right, look at here. It's Salvador Sanchez. Sanchez captured the WBC featherweight crown in 1980 by knocking out Danny Lopez in the 13th round. Then he reeled off 9 successful title defenses, including wins over Juan Laporte, Wilfredo Gomez, and Azuma Nelson. At that point, Sanchez was considered by some to be, pound for pound, the best fighter in the world. But his life was cut short when he was killed in an automobile accident at age 23. Oh. All right, next up it's Kid Chocolate. Kid Chocolate won the junior lightweight title in a 7th-round knockout over Benny Bass in 1931. That victory was sandwiched between losses to featherweight champ Battling Battolino on December 12th, 1930, and lightweight junior welterweight champion Tony Canzoneri on November 20th, 1931. That made Kid Chocolate the only man in ring history to fight for 4 titles within the course of less than a year. Kid Chocolate. All right, next card is Jeff Chandler. Chandler won the world bantamweight crown on a 14th round knockout of Julian Solis in 1980. At first, he was considered a caretaker champ, but Chandler confounded the experts by successfully defending the title 9 times against all comers, including George Lujan, Johnny Carter, and Gabby Canizales. Finally, in 1984, he was defeated on a 15th round knockout at the hands of Richard Sandoval. All right, Wilfredo Gomez. Gomez won the WBC junior featherweight title with a 12th round knockout of Dong Hyun Yum in 1977 and successfully defended it 17 times, all by knockout. In 1981, he moved up in weight and lost a challenge to WBC featherweight champ Salvador Sanchez. However, in 1984, Gomez captured the elusive featherweight title with a victory over Juan Laporte. A controversial 1985 decision over WBA junior lightweight champ Rocky Lottridge gave him his 3rd crown. All right, we got Muhammad Ali hanging out with some guy. It is the checklist card. We got Archie Moore. Pretty impressive that over the course of 3 packs, we haven't gotten one double yet. Denied a title shot for most of his career, Moore captured the World Light Heavyweight Championship by decision over Joey Maxim in 1952 at age 39. He held the crown for 9 years, making him the oldest world champion ever. During Moore's last 65 fights, his only losses were to Rocky Marciano, Floyd Patterson, and Giulio Rinaldi and Cassius Clay. His 145 knockouts are an all-time ring record. All right, we got James Jeffries, the Boilermaker. Jeffries won the heavyweight crown in 1899 by knocking out Bob Fitzsimmons in 11 rounds. He successfully defended it 7 times, including 2 knockout victories over James Corbett and a 55-second KO of Jack Finnegan. Then he retired in 1905, but made an ill-advised 1-bout comeback against Jack Johnson 5 years later. Johnson toyed with Jeffries throughout their bout and knocked him out in the 15th round. How many cards are there? At least 149. 3 checklists. All right, we got Michael Moorer. Moorer is one of Kronk Jim's brightest young stars. A stylish southpaw with obvious knockout power, he captured the WBO light heavyweight title on a 4th round KO of Ramzi Hassan in 1988. Since then, he has successfully defended his title 8 times. The only question mark about Moorer to date is the caliber of opponent he has faced. Bill Moorer is looking forward to tougher opposition down the road. Last card here. It's Jose Napoles. Napoles won the welterweight crown in 1969 on a 13th round knockout of Curtis Cokes and won 15 of 18 title bouts over the next 6 years. His only losses during that period were a freak 1970 defeat on a cut to Billy Backus, avenged by KO the next year, a 7th round knockout loss to middleweight champ Carlos Monzon in 1974, and a 6th round KO by John Stracey in 1975. That ended Napoli's career. All right, these are the boxing cards. It's a lot of info with a big wall of text on the back of each one. Maybe I shouldn't have read them all out to you guys, Let me know what you think about that matter in the comments. Let me know which card was your favorite. Who's your favorite boxer besides Muhammad Ali that showed up here? If you want to trade for any of these cards, you can contact me on Twitter or through email, and we can sort out a trade. I think my favorite cards in this pack were Kid Chocolate, as well as our Ali bonus card number 3. Let me know which one you guys think. Take it easy.